Hello everyone, my name is Erison and I'm here to discuss the COVID-19 pandemic and how it affected businesses all around the world, but most particularly in Rwanda, and some of the solutions that these businesses can incorporate to tackle the pandemic or to survive and thrive amidst the pandemic. Now, how this pandemic has affected businesses all around the world. A study done by Jones, Palombo, and Brown states that some employees lost their jobs, and as well, some employees got pay cuts. And you may know that some economies in the world are also in a period of recession. They're trying to recover, and some businesses closed due to losses, as well as shifting to working from home because of the social distancing measures that the pandemic came with. And moving on, how the mode of communication for businesses in particular all around the world has changed. You all know that before the pandemic, there was a lot of in-person communications or face-to-face communications in businesses generally, but looking at how the pandemic has affected communication in particular, most businesses shifted to working from home, and that resulted into online video calls, Google meetings, Zoom meetings, and lots of other online modes of communication. This is a significant way that the communication was impacted because of the pandemic, and all these were brought about by having to social distance and keeping safe. The statistics on how businesses in Rwanda particularly were affected. A study done by Turek in 2021 found out that some businesses in Rwanda were affected, especially throughout the year 2019 when the pandemic started, all the way to 2021 currently. And the study shows that up to 80% of the businesses in Rwanda were temporarily closed because of the pandemic of COVID-19, and 38% of the businesses had their operations interrupted. 60% of businesses in Rwanda experienced negative changes in revenues, and this means losses, and 20% got no earnings at all. That is very, very significant in terms of how the pandemic impacted businesses or affected businesses in Rwanda. Now, an analysis of what I just said. That is a graph that shows you how the businesses were impacted or affected in Rwanda, particularly because of the pandemic. So the graph shows you that 80% of businesses were temporarily closed, 38% of businesses were interrupted, and then 60 had negative changes in their revenues. That means they made losses, and then 20% received no earnings at all. Now, how should businesses operate to recover from the impacts? Some of the ways that businesses should operate to recover from the impact is that they should first of all acknowledge their losses and then learn lessons. When you learn lessons, you know what to shift, you know what to switch, you know what to change the next time you go to do something. And then also businesses should also understand their cash flows and how to manage them. They should as well try to plan ahead of time in case of any emergencies and organize themselves accordingly and have a contingency plan just in case things go bad. There are lots of ways that the internet can tell you, or any business owner, how to come up with contingency plans or emergency plans. So businesses should utilize these resources to help their business, to save their businesses the next time emergencies happen, such as these. Now let's move on to things that we have in place as the Ministry of Trade. We can give interest-free loans. We also have financial and business advice that we shall be giving some of these businesses. We also have partnership possibilities. You could come to us and we seal deals of partnership, and we are also giving tax holidays to some businesses. These support systems are aimed at reviving or bringing back to life the businesses that faced issues in the pandemic. So moving on to how I got this information, that is just an illustration, or these are the sources that I used to get this information. Feel free to reach out to those links and dig or research more about how the businesses were affected and how the businesses can revive themselves from the pandemic. Thank you for listening to my presentation and watching my presentation. I'll be back next time with another presentation. For now, enjoy yourselves.